Hello, and welcome back to another chapter in our grand quest. During our previous adventure, I successfully made it to Gridania. Faced harassment, hung out with friends, joined a guild, and met an idiot. Today's adventure is sure to be full of joy, laughter, and most likely, a ton of dead innocent creatures. So sit back, relax, and prepare for more fuckery. Today's adventure begins with some power leveling. My level was too low to accept the next guild quest, so me and Rosalind decided a late afternoon massacre was in order. After leveling up to 12, I went to go accept my level 10 quest from the guild master. During my last quest we learned about the earth element, next up was wind. But before setting out to learn the ways of the wind, I met up with my homie Stump, who really seems to love the color blue, and he accompanied me on my mission. We went over to Hawthorne Hut, in the Eastern Shroud. Assassinated some vultures and goblins that were in my hunting log, then went to speak to this chick. She tells me to go over to a small spring and dispatch a honeybee swarm that took up residence in the area. And that somehow this was supposed to help me learn about the wind. Feeling that she is full of shit, I reluctantly head over to the spring in question, and kill the shit out of some poor innocent honeybees. We head back over to the lady to find out why those bees had to die. She explains that corrupted air led them there and that I should head back over to the spring and use my conjury to dispel corrupted air when it manifests. We head back over there to find out that my homie Snub can't join me, because this is an instanced quest, so I go alone. The lady was absolutely correct about the tainted air, because as soon as I got there it tried to kill me, and to make matters worse it summoned untainted wind sprites and raw sludge to aid in my destruction. But because I'm a fucking badass, and because that lady came to help me, this battle was a piece of cake. We went back to the hut and she further elaborated on why that training was necessary. She explains that wind does not strike with the same crushing force as earth. Instead, it dances across every surface, leaving 1,000 tiny cuts in its wake, and experiencing that firsthand gave me a better understanding of the wind. And also an extreme need for band-aids. After patching myself up I head back to the guild master, who seems to be impressed with my progress. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I'm like, super awesome and stuff. But while I was talking to the guild master, an idiot enters stage left to once again remind us how stupid she is. She argues that the wind lessons are worthless and you don't need them to heal, which is technically correct. Arrow is indeed an offensive spell. She continues by saying she has all the training she needs and her mother has never needed to embrace nature to heal, and many people were thankful to her mom for her healing arts. She also claims she will learn conjury the same way her mom did and become a great conjurer. Finally, she tells the guild master that she has learned to cast Trace, a spell to revive recently downed adventurers. The guild master gets angry and tells her if she even attempts to cast such a spell in her current state he will be forced to strip her of the title of conjurer. The idiot gets angry and storms off. Meanwhile I'm over here like, bruh, I swear we were having a conversation though. He turns his attention back to me and tells me I'm doing a great job. I also learn that Selfie's mom could literally only use healing spells also, and that it's an extremely rare talent to be able to heal without the aid of the elements. Furthermore, based on current knowledge there is no way Selfie should even be able to cast rays, and he shudders to think what could happen if she tried. After all that crap I am now able to join other guilds and expand my horizons. Which means I could become a lancer, archer, or any of the crafting or gathering classes available here in Gridania. I decide to go for what I know and stick to conjury for now. Because despite my thirst for bloody combat, healing is where my heart is. At this point my level is still pretty low, so Snub and I go on another killing spree to get me leveled up enough to continue the main story quests. After that I head over to holla at Mother Mione and she sends me over to the central shroud to introduce myself to a man named Galfred. Galfred? Who cares? After chatting with Galfred for a bit, he notices that my gear sucks, and makes me buy better gear before I can talk to him again. I go get geared up and return. Galfred says that lots of adventurers have lost their lives by going into battle under-equipped. Clearly, he does not know how awesome I am. I can go to my next mission butt-ass naked and make it back no problem. For now though, I will entertain his ignorance. Galfred, hearing of my adventures thus far, entrusts me with a particularly important quest. I am to head to the Lifeman Stump where the XIV have been spotted. He sends me instead of a soldier unit because of the covert nature of the task, with hopes I can approach the XIV unnoticed. So me and my homie Snub head that way. Arriving at our destination we notice that something is very wrong. It appears someone has lodged a sword into the lifeman's stump. A veritable sword in the stump, if you will. I examine the situation and am immediately approached by a Mughal, Al-Alafel, and some airhead. Angered by the sword in the stump, the forest sends its minions to die by my hand. Assisted by the two strangers, we quickly dispatch the angered forest creatures. Soon after, I discover a fairly large azure crystal on the ground. I pick up the crystal and was transported to a place I have been before. I am spoken to by what appears to be a goddess named Heidelin. I have elected to call her Crystal Chan. She tells me of a light that once shone through this land that has since grown dim, and how darkness has replaced it, and if unchecked could mean the end to life. I am tasked to deliver us from this fate by collecting the crystals similar to the one I just found, and that they will be revealed to me through my heroic deeds. I awoke some time later, met by the strangers who helped me before. They identified what appeared to be the XIV chieftain who implanted the sword into the stump, and concluded that they must have been instructed to perform this task, or else they never would have traveled this far into enemy territory. The small one receives a call, and informs the Mughal to tell my guild leader Isumiyan of the recent developments. Soon after that we part ways. I return back to Galford to get him up to speed on what took place at the stump. He says one of the local patrols told him they saw me doing battle with enraged treants. But they failed to mention how they didn't even bother to lend a fucking hand. I tell him of the XIV chieftain and the strangers I met. He tells me their names are Ida and Papalimo, and that I can trust them. I take his word for it and he changes the subject. Apparently now he wants me to pick up the slack for his deadbeat soldiers and go exterminate some big-ass bugs. So I do just that, because you know I ain't turning down a chance to kill something. After finishing with my extermination, I went over to this pleb to turn in my quest. He mentioned some crap about a deadly illness spread by these bugs, that claimed the lives of a third of the human population in Gridania some time ago. Then he thanks me for my help. Turns out though that he had yet another quest for me. This time a cowardly soldier tasked with handling a surveying expedition, chickened out and ran at the first sight of trouble. And now apparently it's my job to go retrieve the equipment he left while running away like a little bitch. I'm really starting to understand how the calamity still has a lasting impact on Gridania. I finally make it over to Daddy Longleg Cave and begin my search. Not only did this idiot leave the tools behind, he apparently dropped each tool one by one as he fled, forcing me to explore the entire cave to find all of the items. I freaking hate this guy and I have never even met him. I return the stupid tools to a woman named Pauline. She was much nicer than I would have been about the situation. And she also had another request to ask of me. She wanted me to go murder some derpy-looking raptor creatures and steal one of their eggs. Not only did she want me to kill the creatures, but she wanted the babies dead also. That's hardcore as fuck. I can't help but admire a woman who spares none in the name of keeping Gridania safe. So I bet you can guess what came next. Yup, you guessed it. After that fun little romp, I went to speak to some cat lady who seemed to be thrilled to eat this dino egg. She rewards and compliments me coming out unscathed. Then I head back over to speak to Galfred. I get over to Galfred and once again he tells me there is a potential crisis afoot, and asks me will I hear him out. But to be perfectly honest, I'm pretty tired of cleaning up the messes of incompetent soldiers. It's time I decided to do something I wanted to do. So I tell Galfred to fuck off, and that I will be back later to take care of his stupid crisis. With all of the stress in my life right now from dealing with other people's problems, I decided to take up a hobby that I could do for myself and for my own benefit. And what better hobby is there than botany? My friend informed me that I could make some pretty good gil by taking up either botany or mining. So that's exactly what I plan to do. On the next episode, that is. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Satsuhime's Grand Adventure. Don't forget to support the channel by hitting that like button and sharing this video with every single human you know. Even the ugly ones. See you guys next time.